My name is Nick Eastwood from Secon Renewables, and today I would like to demonstrate to you the installation of the Panasonic RAC Solo, an air conditioning unit without an outdoor unit. First part of the installation process is mounting the wall template to the wall. When mounting the template to the wall, you need to pay attention to the drilling points. You need to make sure that there's no cables that run through these areas that you may hit when you're drilling into the wall, but also you need to observe that you have the adequate clearances around the unit as detailed in the installation manual. Once we're happy with the position of the template and happy that we're clear of any obstructions within the wall, you can go ahead and you can drill the 162mm cores through to the outside of the wall. And you can also go ahead and drill the 8mm holes for the wall fixing bracket. In our case, we're going through a stud type wall. So again, we need to make sure that we're using suitable fixings to support the weight of the unit, but also, if possible, picking up any wooden notches in the wall to give us a better fixing. If you're fixing to a masonry wall, there are some raw plugs and screws provided for fixing the bracket to the wall. Once we've drilled our holes in the wall, we can remove the template from the wall. At this point, we need to measure for the ductwork through the wall. Once we've cut the piece of ductwork to the correct length, we can insert it into the wall. Here's one I've already done with the non-return valve in place and the internal wall plate in place. What we'll now do is we will pass the non-return valve through the duct and pull it back on itself. At this point, you need to pay attention to which is the in valve and which is the out valve. Getting these the wrong way around will affect the operation of the unit. This then folds and allows you to pass it through. Like so. The next part of the process is to secure the wall bracket in place. As said earlier, depending on what the wall is made out of depends on the fixings that you will use. In case of masonry wall, the unit is provided with some wall plugs and screws. If you're onto a stud wall or a dot and dab wall, you may need to select a suitable fixing to support the weight of the unit. We've now got the wall mounted bracket secured in place. We've got our ductwork through the wall to the outside of the building with our non-return valves, chains holding the non-return valves securely in place. When we were installing the non-return valves, we checked the orientation of them were in and out as correct, and we're now in a position where we can mount the unit on the wall. Once mounted on the wall, check that the unit is secure in place. As it's obviously very heavy, we don't want it falling off the wall, especially falling onto any children, etc. We do have a condensate drain on the unit, which, depending on your installation, you may run to the outside of the property through the wall. There is a marking on the template if you require this. Alternatively, it can be ran internal to a drain. Obviously, in doing that, you need to take into account that the pipe will need some fall to drain. And or alternatively, as another option, you could run this to a condensate pump and pump again to a drain. If running to the outside, it's important to take into account that any condensation may freeze in cold weather conditions. However, condensation should only really come out of this when the unit is operating in cooling. So we wouldn't normally expect over winter any condensation to be discharged from this pipe. Underneath the unit, there are some further fixing points. These need to be secured back to the wall. This is to stop the unit accidentally being lifted off the bracket and again potentially falling on anyone. So it is important that those fixings are put in place. As detailed earlier, the unit comes fitted with a 3-pin UK plug as standard from the factory, so can just be plugged into a standard socket, UK socket. I wouldn't recommend running this on an extension lead though, it should be into a fixed socket. Once we're happy that the unit is secured, the condensate is discharged according to the manufacturer's instructions. We've plugged the unit in to a socket. We can then go ahead and operate the unit. The unit can either be operated by the touch panel located on the front of the unit, or alternatively the remote control, or can be controlled through the Aquaria smart app. One press of the on button on the remote and the display illuminates. We can then use the controller to select our modes, heating or cooling, turn the temperature up and down, alter the oscillation of the fins on front, adjust the fan speed, or as said, we can use the actual controller on the front of the unit also to adjust the settings and the set points. Thank you for watching this video on the installation of the Panasonic RAC Solo air conditioning unit without an outdoor unit. For any further information on this product or any more products on our website, please contact tech@seconrenewables.com. Thank you for watching.